Hello, and welcome to Grug Gaming, and welcome to our playthrough of Dark Souls. Now, Dark Souls is a game that I have never beaten. I've played many times, played through a lot of it, but I've never had a chance to beat it. So I figured, why not force myself to play it on the internet so that you can all see how bad I am, and then force myself to beat it. So we're going to play Dark Souls, everybody. Now, in Dark Souls, again, I'm not very good. So if you came for top level gameplay, you are in the wrong spot. But if you want to watch somebody fail, that's me. So let's go ahead and start our character. We are going to name him Grugtar here. Make him a male. And we are going to start with Cleric. I have a basic idea of how I'm going to start the game and the build I'm going to start out with, but I am not yet sure on how we'll end. And I'll probably make a lot of leveling up decisions people don't agree with. Deal with it. I'm bad at the game. So here we go. Cleric. We're going to take the Master Key. And we're going to be of average physique. We need to choose a face. If we're going to choose a face for Grug, he's in here somewhere. There he is. There's Grug. Hair color. No hair. We don't have to worry about color of hair either. Perfect. That looks like Grug to me. So let's go ahead, get started, and let's watch the introduction to Dark Souls.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign.
Whew! What an opening.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
There we are.
This
Grugtar.
is your fate.
Oh, come back, buddy. The Northern Undead Asylum. And our journey through Dark Souls begins. Alright, I've, like I said, played Dark Souls before, so I know a little bit about it. I'll talk a little bit about it as we play, but I'll probably be reacting to what's on screen quite a bit. And while those of you who've watched any of my other videos know that I try not to swear, I can't guarantee that we're going to make it through Dark Souls without any swearing. This game drives me crazy. So we just picked up a key. Now, one thing in Dark Souls that makes it different from a lot of games, there's a couple cutscenes, not very many, but most of the story is actually told through item descriptions. So, this is a black separation crystal. This black crystal, long a symbol of farewell, is granted to banished undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes or sends you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. So Dark Souls has a multiplayer combat component where you can summon people into your world to help fight bosses, and you can go into other people's worlds to do the same. You can also invade other people to try and kill them as a way to get rewards. Now, normally in a Let's Play, you might play offline, so that doesn't happen. I have to play online because the version I'm playing is an older version that's using the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. And that means I have to be connected for the cloud saves. So we'll see if we get invaded while we're playing as well. Then there's the Dark Sign. The Dark Sign signifies an accursed undead. Those branded with it are reborn after death, but will one day lose their mind and go hollow. Death triggers the Dark Sign, which returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, but at the cost of all humanity and souls. This is the hey, I'm stuck, I'm done playing, I just want to go back to the bonfire, I'm tired of being here item. We probably won't use that ever. And then we have, of course, the master key that we have. This universal key opens any basic lock, tool of the trade for thieves. But in the cursed lands of the undead, most doors are better left unopened. And then we have the dungeon cell key. Key to the dungeon of the Undead Asylum to the north. A mysterious knight, without saying a word, shoved a corpse down into the cell, and on its person was this key. Who was this knight, and what was his purpose? There may be no answers, but one must still forge ahead. So with that key, we'll be able to unlock this door. And out here we have the other undead who have gone hollow. Every time you die in the Dark Souls universe, you lose, if you're a person with a dark sign, you lose a bit of your humanity, of your soul. And eventually you become just a mindless undead. We don't want that to happen to us. In the first section of Dark Souls are these things on the ground, these messages. Now players can leave these messages back and forth as well to each other, but the developers have them here, and these are the tutorial messages, such as use the right stick for camera controls. We're not going to read all the tutorial messages because I know how to play. Trying to see what that is, that read messages in the way. Is that a giant dead rat? Yes, it is. Okay. So we're going to run up here. Ooh. Look at that guy. That is one of the Dark Souls bosses. It's the first one you get to see, and it gives you a good taste of what's to come later on in the game. Hint, hint. We're going to have to fight him. Not right now, though. So when we run up here, again, more messages telling us how to attack and how to lock on to people. You don't need to worry about that yet. Here's a ladder. And this is the first bonfire in Dark Souls. So what the bonfires do is you can light them. At a bonfire, you go back to the last bonfire you were at when you die. If you reach a bonfire, though, you can use it to restore your health, restore your healing items throughout the game. They're basically your checkpoints. So, with that lit, we're going to open up these doors. And every time I play, I forget to do this, but instead of just going forward, we're going to look up. Dark Souls rewards looking around and being aware of your surroundings. So if we look up there we actually have a demon, a lot like the other one, moving around. But if you can hear the footsteps, obviously it's a different demon. But you'll see him up there, and if we walk into here... Oh! There he is. Now, you can fight him, and he might drop a weapon for you to use if you do decide to fight him, but we're not going to bother with it. Head down here, we got another bonfire. Light that up. Actually, just to show you what resting looks like. And in this hallway, oh, we got a jerk with a bow and arrow. But here is our character's shield. And we're going to get our basic starting equipment here in this beginning area. So we have this straight hilt sword right now in one hand. There we go. Straight sword. The hilt of this lost sword was found discarded in the Undead Asylum. Only slightly better than one's bare hands and not recommended for extensive use. Be certain to find a replacement quickly. And here's the shield we just picked up, the East-West shield. Decorated with the ancient symbol of a double-headed eagle painted yellow, wood shields are lighter than metal shields, but with lower physical damage reduction and reduced shield stability. In Dark Souls, you'll see that on the right-hand side for shields, it says damage reduction. You can see the percentages of damage in blue that this shield reduces. So when we block, it reduces 88% of physical damage. So you can have a trade-off on shields that, like this one, have good magic protection, but don't block all physical damage, and you can find shields that will actually block all physical damage, but let a lot of the magic damage through. We're going to go ahead and equip this shield here. And then, let's charge at this guy and block his arrows. You got nothing, chump. I've never seen him just stand here this long. Usually he runs away, and you don't have to fight him like this. Well, if he's just going to stand there, we'll kill him with this sword. I've, like I said, never had him stay. So in Dark Souls, if you can get right behind an enemy, you can perform what's called a backstab on most basic enemies, which does a large amount of damage. You can see our sword does 1 damage when we swing it, but if we can get a backstab, we're doing about 9. Oh, we got 2 for hitting him in the back. This is the silliest thing I've ever seen ever playing Dark Souls. There's a backstab. So we did 6 actually instead of 2. This is just odd. All right, come on, buddy. Die already. Huh, I think one more should do it. Again. Is that going to be enough? Please be dead. All right, he died. So, normally you run at him and he runs away, and then you stand here to pick up your weapon. So for the cleric, we start with a mace. The mace, an iron hammer with a protrusive hand pommel, standard weapon for clerics. This simple bladeless strike weapon is effective against most foes and can break the guard of a shield. However, one miss leaves you wide open. Normally, you'd grab this mace, and he would be right around this corner, waiting for you so you could actually hit him. I've never seen him stop there before. So with the mace, it's what's considered a strength weapon. Actually, I think it's actually might be balanced. We'll take a look. Oh. So, actually, it's a strength. So, on the left-hand side of our weapon, we'll just go over this once so we don't have to talk about it later. You have the attack parameters. So this weapon does so much physical damage, doesn't do any magic, fire, or lightning. Has a 100 critical level. And then see parameter bonus at the bottom. The B next to the little muscly arm means that every point of strength we put in will make this weapon better. And weapons could have an A, a B, a C, or a D, or other letters in that area. And that means that if it has that parameter bonus, the higher the letter, the better your bonus for having higher stats. So there is strength is the far left, then dexterity, then intelligence, then faith. And on the right of that, we see required parameters. That's the minimum amount you need to have to use a weapon effectively. So for example, this, you have to have at least a 12 strength to wield it. I don't like the mace. We're going to be replacing it pretty early on because I don't like the little stagger you can see there when we attack that it has. Going to traverse through what they call a fog gate. Fog gates keep enemies from coming at you, and they usually are what are used to divide bosses from the rest of the area. So here we have a guy inside of there. There's the courtyard where our bonfire was and the doors we opened. Over here, I don't think we have anything. Nope. Been a while. I have to try and remember everything. Little message on the ground here. Somebody left a message to be wary of dead end. I agree. We can't seem to get in where that guy is, but we'll head up here and what's that rock? Boo! Now again, if you look, we saw that rock before we got on the stairs. If you pay attention to your surroundings, you can save yourself a lot of grief. Don't worry, I'm going to miss a lot of things. So here we have the brave knight who gave us the key moments ago.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Sure, we'll listen to you.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords, when thou ringeth the bell of awakening. The fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
All right.
Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
All right. We will honor his wishes and walk away. And he has died. So, well, that's weird. That shadow just looks strange. So, we got 2 items. We got the Estus flask. Undead treasure. These dull green flasks filled with Estus at a bonfire. The Estus flasks are linked to the fire keepers. The Dark Tales also make reference. An emerald flask for the keeper's soul. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. We also got this key. Key to the iron bars on the east side of the 2nd floor of the North Undead Asylum. The Undead Asylum is a giant undead prison segmented by countless iron bars. Even if an undead were to escape from a cell, passage to the outside world would not be gained easily. So with that key, we'll be able to open up stuff here, but we're also going to do this. This is Dark Souls teaching you also that there's going to be shortcuts. So if we open this gate, we can come back down to this bonfire. That way, if we died, we can go right from this bonfire straight up, instead of having to figure out how we would get all the way back through that sewer that we ran through. And there are shortcuts like that all through the game. So, a couple enemies here. Alright, let's go ahead and use that key to open this door. And then off to the right is the other piece of equipment we need to pick up, which is our talisman. The canvas talisman. We'll equip it right after we take care of these guys here. You'll notice that I tend to play a little defensively. Oh, we are... A little bit of lag to my capture gear. So, there's going to be one more guy in here for us to take care of. And this guy is a shield, which if we need to, we can use a kick to get rid of, but we won't need to here. Alright. Now the talisman we picked up is the last part of our basic equipment. So for the cleric, we can equip this canvas talisman. Weapon type talisman, attack type strike. A medium for casting miracles of the gods. Canvas talisman is for clerics on pilgrimage. Equip talisman to cast miracles. Attune miracles from a scroll to bonfire. Most miracles have a limited number of uses. So a lot of people, they like to start out, they say the pyromancer is a great beginning character, and he is. The pyromancer class, instead of that, gets the pyro hand. The flame hand, which is you shoot fire at your enemies, gives you a good ranged attack to start the game with. Personally, I like to have the extra healing, because you saw where we took a little bit of damage. You see how we only have 5 Estus flasks? Well, instead of eating through our Estus flasks, which are fast and we can use in combat with bosses, we can cast our healing spell and get some of our health back. And I like to do that a lot more than have the extra attacks. So this is a fog gate. We're going to have a boss back here. It's time to move on. Traverse the white light. Oh, and there he is. So, if we stay here too long, he'll actually jump up and attack us. We're going to jump down and give him a big smack. And then we're going to try not to die on the first boss. Oh, we're doing really good to begin. You can see how I changed my stance, so now I have both hands on the weapon. That way it does more damage when I attack with it. Oh, wow. There's weird lag going on here. Gonna have to get used to this if it's gonna be this weirdly non-responsive. And we have the beautiful Xbox 360 backwards compatibility version's frame rate, which is always fun. Go ahead and heal up. I seem to be getting 2 rolls each time I go, but there we go. The Asylum demon defeated. You defeated. We got a big Pilgrim's Key and a Humanity for defeating the boss. Beautiful. And we got 2,000 souls. But we can still hear that big one below stamping around. I think we'll deal with him a different time. Take a look at that key we just picked up. The big Pilgrim's Key, key to the inner door of the Undead Asylum main hall. Big key belonging to a chosen undead pilgrim, but this chosen undead knows not what this pilgrimage has in store. Alright. Use that big key on this big door. Head forward. Not a lot going on here right now, not much to see. And let's get ready to leave the Undead Asylum.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
In Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfires. And here we are at Firelink Shrine. This is where we will be basing out of for a little bit. Couple episodes. There we go. We'll go ahead and rest at this bonfire real quick. And with that, we will finish our first episode of Dark Souls. We've got a lot more to go, a lot more fun to have. I want to say that we'll be doing that on a future episode of Gaming with Grug. And oh, we got to switch this over. This is not right. There we go. So, I want to say thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, we hope to see you soon.